You're another half market store. You don't need to submit.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I've started recording now. Now, yes. So I said few very annoying sentences repetitively when we reached to this point. And what was that? First of all, what npm install will do, npm, now we have to run, first command we have run, cd second app. Now I have to run npm install. And what npm install will do, I will open up my second app folder for you to show you. This second app folder, I run the command npm install, and it will take some time. But what it does is, that is something important. I've opened up my project, I've kept my project open, and I want to just show you what will happen when I run this command. And I will just repeat the same sentence. I repeated multiple times, one more time today. So now let's see. Do you guys see that second app has new folder now? Everyone sees that node modules, which was not there. In your folder, you will find that there was no node modules before, but now this node modules is there. And what was the annoying sentence about this? Can anyone repeat that? Kalyan, can you repeat those sentences?
Yeah, we have to delete node modules before submitting you to the.
Wonderful. He says that whenever you are sending me your React project, you will have to come here and literally delete this node modules. Never send it. If you send it, what will happen? You will lose 50% of the marks. If your folder, when you send it to me and it has node modules folder, you will lose 50% of the marks. Make sense, everyone? So what you have to do, when you are finished working, you will come here, right click, delete that, and then zip the folder. So it means that you are sending me a folder without node modules. And how I would produce node modules? I will produce node modules same way as we have produced right now. I'll go into your folder and I'll run npm install, and node modules will be there. Are you guys getting that one? Just enough is said. Now, anyhow, so it has created. Now the last command that it has asked, the last command that it was asking is npm run dev. It is not visible now. Npm run dev. Npm run dev, dev. And if I hit enter onto that one, look at that, what happens. It is actually starting to run my project. Do you guys see this command now? A blue color text. Now you can, either way, you can just hit control and click on this one. A browser window will open, or you can directly go to browser and write localhost colon 5173. It is running at 5173. And please remember, now this project will only run with this way. You will never be able to run this project by using live server. If you will do that, it won't work. Make sense, everyone? Because it's a React project, it's not a normal project. So it has nothing to do with live server. Forget about that. Yes. Oh, wonderful. It's okay, no problem. You just run npm run dev. npm run. Yeah, the node space leave the rest. Yeah. Now can you click on this with control? Is this click on with control? Library. Yeah. You see that? It's working from here. So now, if I click on this one, which I have done, you will see that the React project is now running for you. Do you guys see that? React project is now running for you. So again, those who were, all who were present or not present, do you all see this screen on your on your screens? This one? I don't see everyone responding. Do you guys see this screen? Wonderful. Good. Now this is our React project. And do you guys remember that then we started discussion that React projects only have one HTML file. And that HTML file is which one? Index.html. Now let's talk about these things. Now look at that. Do you guys see everyone index.html here? We have got an index.html that actually runs when our application runs. Remember, everyone? And this index application has just one, considerable or visible thing. And what is that? Div ID is equal to root. You guys see that, everyone? Div ID is equal to root. Now, then it has a script attached. What is that script? The script is src main.jsx. What is the name of the script? src main.jsx. And if you guys remember, I told you this main.jsx is just like a, a middleman between two things that we'll see. This main.jsx is doing nothing, but what it does is that it calls the method create root. It accesses the root area and renders. Again, remember we took out this strict mode for the time being. This app something. And this app is the main component that runs. And we talked about React actually works on components. Yes, you're saying something?
Yes.
Oh, it means that, what did you did? You actually selected TypeScript in that second option when we selected JavaScript. No problem. You can just delete this folder. Maybe, for the time, we can change that anyhow manually as well, but right now just delete the folder and create the project again. Yes. So everyone understand that one? It's actually, yeah. So main.js does what? It accesses the element, root element, root ID element, div from the index.js, index.html, and renders this app component. And what is this app component? The app component is residing in the same folder and it's app.jsx. This is actually what is running on our page right now. Because Wednesday we discussed it in very detail. So today I'm just going over the few points, right? So this is actually the component that is running. And if you want to make sure that yes, it is running, I did this thing with all of you last time. You see that there is one div over here, or rather multiple divs. I'll just come here and I will delete everything. Just leave these empty brackets out. And can anyone from the last class tell me what is this empty brackets called?
Fragment.
They are called React fragments or fragment, empty brackets. That make what? That make a wrapper of contents, They are just the wrapper around some content. Anyhow, if I hit save, look at that. If I hit save, do you guys see that everyone is gone? Everything is gone from my screen because I have just left with these empty brackets. Now, let's do a very quick thing very quickly. Hit enter and put an H1 and write first, or rather it's not first, second React app. And hit save, Control S. All should see this now, second React app. And look at the app, on the side, app component, and I've just removed everything. Just put an H1, second React app for myself. Sorry?
What does JSX stand for?
Wonderful. What is JSX stands for? I did not tell that other day as well, but I'll talk about that one. But right now, just understand that it is, it's a little bit controversial. Sometimes some theory, some literature will say it's JavaScript expression. Some literature will say something else. But JSX is right now is the extension for a component. It's an extension. Right now, just understand it's an extension for a component. And by the way, component can have .js extension as well. But we will always use JSX. App.js will also work. But we would always prefer to have. So this is app.jsx. And this is the main component, the home component that runs when React application runs. Can I have a response from everyone? Do you guys understand till this point? So how do we know that React application is running? I have seen that I just left these empty brackets and I just write H1 and it works. It works for me. Right? So he asked the question, what is JSX? We talked about. Actually, what is JSX? Every component in React. Now, just remember this sentence. Every component in React actually returns JSX. Actually returns what? Do you see that return keyword and inside that something is written? It's basically JSX that it is returning. So not only it is the extension that we are using for the component, it's basically a type or something. And what is JSX? Do you guys remember? Can you define JSX or the amount of discussion we did about JSX? Anyone? Yeah.
It's basically
Wonderful. It's basically a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Wonderful. Now, it is a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Do you see HTML already written over here?
Yes.
H1 is written, right? And do you guys remember I told you that we can have CSS as well over here. And I'll write some local CSS over here. So if I come here and rather in this H1, if I say style is equal to
right? And I put double quotation and I say color red. Sorry. Now, I can apply style with curly brackets and I'll tell you why. I'll just, tell you, just be with it. Oh, sorry. This should be double curly bracket here.
Now, I'll talk about this double curly bracket, but right now just say, you see what I've done? Style is equal to double curly bracket and I write color red. Now, other than this double curly bracket, do you understand? Color, basically, it is just changing the CSS style. It is just the inline styling that we used to do. But again, here is a little bit different syntax. I'll talk about the syntax. But do you see I've applied CSS as well somehow? Make sense, everyone? CSS. I've just given some styling. You might be thinking, where is the JavaScript then? I can even use some JavaScripting over here. After this H1 React tab, if I come here and I write H2, and I just write these two curly brackets. These curly brackets are called JavaScript expression box. JavaScript expression box. And we can write any JavaScript inside that one. And let's start with this one. And I started this same way. If I say 7 plus 5, something like that. Do you know when I hit save, what will happen? Look at that. It says 7 plus 5 is 12. Make sense, everyone? So now, if you want to write JavaScript, you will use curly brackets. If you want to write CSS, you can write style is equal to, I talk about this double curly bracket. What is that? But then you can write H1, you can write H2, you can write any HTML that you want over here. Everyone make sense of this? And now let's talk about what is this double curly bracket. This is very important. So I told you, whenever curly bracket comes, this blue color, it is actually showing a JavaScript box. Make sense, everyone? JavaScript box. Here, if I have to typically apply certain properties directly, I will use another curly bracket and I will just define those properties that I want to use. What does that mean? There is another way, which I'll tell you later on. I can just define this inside curly bracket, outside as a variable, and I can call that variable over here. Now, why not if I just do that for you? You might like that one. So for example, if I come here and I say const my style equal to curly bracket and I say color red, for example, or let's say color green, because it will show the difference. Now look at that. I've defined a variable const my style is equal to color green. Now, if I want to call this one in the JavaScript, remember, I'll just come here and I will just write my style. Did you understand the difference between double curly bracket and single curly bracket? Because one of the curly bracket that I was using, the yellow colored one, has been shifted to the variable. So I've just defined a variable and I can call this as a style color. Is that interesting? I can define a style, any style over here, and I can just call that but remember, whenever I have to use or call something, I have to use what? The curly brackets. And another thing that I would like to show you. Can I do something? And can you do this with me? I'll just remove this one because we'll discuss that, but not right now. So if I come here and I say my name is equal to Alan Smith. I did that last time as well. I can define a variable on the top as well. Variable declaration, right? Now, I come here and I say, maybe let's just update that. Welcome to curly brackets, and I can put this name here. And I can just put some sign of exclamations over here. Do you guys understand that one? I can define any variable and I can even use that variable over here. Are you guys following along? Can I have the raise of hand? How many of you are successfully able to follow along with me till now? I see few hands. The others, I'm expecting that you are trying to just, maybe grasp it, or if you have a problem, you can just discuss that. So now we can, so this is called JSX is what? You see, JSX is basically combination of HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript is curly brackets. Curly brackets is JavaScript. You just put an expression box and do anything. Remember, I did one more thing after that, and I will do that again for you. I can just say two uppercase. Remember two uppercase method? And it's a method, function. So just do that. Look at that. Alan Smith is coming out as capital letter. Yes.
So we are supposed to do all the JavaScripts out of the return.
All the JSX. We will write all the JSX, which is combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We will write all JSX inside return.
And all the JavaScript which cannot be fitted into the return statement. We can do that outside the return.
I'll correct this. I understand what you are asking. Let's correct this statement. I defined a variable over here and I called or used this in my JSX. Remember, you can do that. You define the variables on the top and just call them in the JavaScript. So they will be called.
So we can also define functions about.
Yes. Now listen, this is a very good question. Can we define some functions as well before even this one? So yes, we can do that, and I'll do that. I'll do that. But right now, just see that. Okay, I can define certain JavaScript over here, and I can just call that. I can just use that word. You see that I've defined one variable at the bottom as well. And am I using this variable? Yes, I'm using. This is a styling that I've used over here. Make sense, everyone? So yes, to answer your question, we can just do that. But now this is an app component. An app component can return JSX. Every component in React can return what? JSX. Are you guys getting that one? Every component in React can return JSX. So it is basically doing what? It is returning the JSX, and in JSX we can write any HTML, any CSS like that, or we can just write the JavaScript as well, the core JavaScript by using curly brackets. Yes.
Other functions, we define it in the app function or outside.
Okay, wonderful. So as he asked as well, if you want to define a function, you can just come here and define the function, and you can call this function over here.
So inside app.
Sorry?
Inside the app function.
Yeah, inside the app. Yeah, inside the app function. Yeah. So now what we'll do? Now let's see. Come here, and we'll just try to do that one as well. Now let's do that. If I come here, as you guys are asking, so I'll just do that. Function. I'm defining a function over here. And let's say just doing console log, and it says not hello world, hello from React. It's hello from React. Whenever this function is called, it should be doing what? It should be, okay. Let my function. I did not define the name for that one, so I'm just defining as a declaring that function because I did not give the name, right? So now I've just defined that as a the function expression. Remember three ways of defining function. Anyone can name them? Function declaration, function expression, and the last one was arrow function that we use a lot, and we'll use that a lot. So for example, this is my function that it is basically running over here. Now, here is a very important concept that I want to use here. So for example, I have a button here. And this button is click me, for example, right? So I have a button, click me. Now this button is having some styling that CSS is providing. And now let's discuss that one as well. Do you know? Our document is adapting styles from two places. Listen to this very carefully. Right now, my document is taking style from two places. First place is on the top. Can you see that line number 4? What does it say? Import app dot. So there must be a file app.css that has some of the styles being defined. Now let's find out that file. Look at that. Here is the app.css. Do you see that? App.css. And now just to check that one, for example, if I come here and I make this all comment, app.css, I've selected all and make it comment. Comment means I've made it dead. Now if I hit save, do you see some styling has gone from my text? It has come to the left. So there was something happening, but do you see still there is some styling being applied? What is the other? Let's keep it deleted, removed. What is the other styling? The other styling document that we use, and I will be working with that mostly, is over here. Do you see that? What is it is importing at the line number 3? Main.jsx. What is that?
index.css. This is another file. Where is that? Let's find out. It's also here, index.css. I come here and I say, I hate to see this one as well. I comment it out. You know, I've made both CSS dead. Now let's hit save. Do you see a very normal HTML document? Just normal HTML. There's no styling being applied. So what I want you to just take away from this right now, and later on, I'll start a project where I'll just work all style on the index.css. Even we can delete these files by the way. Don't worry. We can delete these files as well. Now listen, I will be mostly working over here, but do you guys understand that you have to remember that actually our app component is adapting styles from two places right now. First place is where? App.css, and second place is what? Index.css. Now there is a third place as well. What is that? I can define my own style sheet and I can attach it in my index.html. Or I can go in index.html and define something. Do you know what I'm saying? Look at that. Actually, the file which is running over here is which one? You know, actually which file is running? Remember index.html, which is running the component, rendering the component over here. So see, I'm showing you something. If I come here, and do you remember we have done this a lot of time in our library project and everywhere. If I just say here, for example, let's say I define some styling for button. And I say color green, background color red. For example, let's say. Look at that. Do you guys understand that one? So do you see the values of defining styles? I'm just telling you each and every value. And this is one value I'm defining as an internal style. Can I have another external? Yes, I can have an external style sheet, attach it with you. But you know, we might not need that. Index.css will be enough for us. I even might take away the app.css from there. And I just adopt the style from index.css. It's up to you. Make sense, everyone? So right now, I'll just, you know, make it back. I don't want this styling here, for example. And, oh, sorry, what I did. Right? So I've just taken that away. And again, I just open that back. Look at that. When index is open, some style is applied. And when this is open, some more styling is applied. So styling is coming from these two main documents. Will you guys remember that one? So we'll talk about that one as well. But see here, so click me is a button here. Do you guys see that? It's a button. Now, we created a function in our app.jsx. Do you guys remember that one? We were actually talking about a button, about a function. Now I'm telling you how we call functions in React applications in our component. It's very important. Try to understand that. Every button has an associated event with it, and it is called onClick. And remember, we have talked about onClick event in our DOM programming. Remember the difference. In DOM programming, remember we used to write click with small c, right? But here I would write onClick is equal to, now here, I want to call this my function with this button click. Are you guys getting that one? My function with this button click. Now let's do a very interesting thing, and I'll tell you that how we call that. So there is a typical syntax. If I write my function like this, call that. Make sense? And now I'll show you something. Console. Do you guys see that? The function is already running hello from React. And you know, it's hello from React is from my function. But did I ever click this button? Look at that. Okay, and why not? Instead of console, if I made an alert, because you know that will show you the real difference. Can I write the alert over here? Look at that alert. And now see here. Did I click my button or no? I did not click that. No, I've not clicked that. Look at that. If I just refresh that, and you see that I refresh that, and the alert is coming up. You guys understand what is happening? Actually, function is automatically being called, and I don't want that one. You know, for that, listen, very important. We call here functions without parenthesis. First of all, you know, it will just go away with that one. Now see here. Now we call this function without any parentheses. Are you guys getting that one? Actually, we give just the reference of the function. And did we use this type of thing before in the document.event listener, where we used to write just the name of the function? If you guys remember that, we had that function we used to define. We used to just give the name with click, and then we used to define the function separately. Does that make sense? This is one way. We just give the name of the function. But do you see that? Is it running? If I come here and I click on this, do you guys see that it is running now? And is it running in the proper way? Make sense, everyone? This is the way to call a function, and we have defined this function in our app. Make sense? Now someone was asking if I have a function before that one, for example, even before app component, right? It is sort of an interview type of question as well. Sometimes you might be, if you are appearing for a React interview, someone might ask you. Let's try that and see that what will happen. Let me have a function here and I say let my function 2 is equal to function. And what it does, it has an alert and it says, I am my function 2. So I have defined a function. Why it is hello from React is coming up? Oh, it was there because of the button, right? Button click. Okay, if I refresh that, now see that. Now I have my function 2. Can I call my function 2 over here? Let's do that. Make sense what I'm doing? One function we defined inside the app function or component. And now I've defined a function outside of app component. Let's see whether it works or not. Let's save that. Save that. And you see that my function has gone dull. Anything that goes dulled out, it means what? You have defined that, but you have not used that, not called that. And I'll show you. Do you see already in apps few dull things on the very top? Because we have deleted all those things, all those stuff. So it shows dull thing. But anyhow, let's come and click on this one. It means I can define function outside as well, and it is running fine. Make sense, everyone? JavaScript has this tendency of, having this, core JavaScript, but now we are working in React. So I can even define a function before app as well. Make sense? But our usual practice will always be what? That we will define our functions inside app. Inside app means inside components, not app. Remember, inside component. I keep on saying app because app is one component and we'll be making our own component shortly. Make sense, everyone? So inside the component. So now this is one way of calling the function. I will tell you one more way, very interesting way. Why? Because my function might take some parameters. For example, it takes A, and what it does is that it displays this A with this one, right? Now, you might be thinking now how I will pass the value to this function because I'm calling this like this way. And I cannot call it the routine way. Remember the usual way I cannot call it. So how will we call that? Now, please listen this and very carefully and remember this one. Because I have to pass values, so now I cannot directly call this function. Rather, I create a callback type of function over here. And inside that function, I will call my function and I will pass a parameter. For example, not Alan, let's pass something else. Let's say Bob. I pass that. Oh, just give me a second because my battery is about to. All right. Since I had to pass the value, so what I've done, I have just done something like this. Now, let's hit save. Let's hit save and now click on this one. I don't see an A here. Just give me a second. Yeah. I'm just coming. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. In the alert, it might not be showing that, but let's see that if we can find out the solution. Yeah, you see that because it was in alert. So alert has a little bit of different syntax. Now, do you guys see that? I passed the value what? Bob. And for passing the value, what I've done, just you have to remember this. I have created in curly brackets, I have created a callback function, arrow function. And inside that, I have called that function. I cannot directly pass the values because remember, I was not using the parentheses where I was directly calling it. Are you guys understanding that one? This is another way of calling. And even here we have the parameter. Even if I take away this parameter, look at that. If I don't have a parameter, and I can even call this function like this. This is another way of calling a function. Are you guys getting that one? So to call a function within React, within JSX, we actually create an arrow function, and in the body, we call that function, and we can pass a value over there as well. Are you guys getting that one? Understanding? So you see that we can define any number of functions on the top. We can define those functions, and we can just call those functions on a button, on a click of anything. We can just, call that function. So right now I have a button which I click and I get my function over here. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, should we start something interesting, cool? If I do that, and I don't want this alert is always very annoying. I can just maybe console something, because, I don't want to see something. Hello from React, something like that. Now I'm telling you how to create our own component. Make sense, everyone? How to create our own component. And now to create that, what I'll do, I'll just do a little thing over here. I'll just maybe take away this code, and I'll just keep my component, the main component, app component, like this, because I'll be bringing some component over here. Now see how we'll create a component and make it a habit of making that one. In SRC, I will create a new folder. Did we do that as well? On Wednesday? Yes, we did that. So I'll just make a folder called components. Yes. I'm just coming. Make a folder components, and inside that we'll define our component folder. Click on that. Or automatically then? Okay, just close that. Oh, because you are directly calling them, right? I told you that if you are directly calling them, you don't use the parentheses. Take away the parentheses from here. It's in both lines. Yeah, in this line. No, sorry, not this rounded parenthesis. Rounded parenthesis. Yeah. And from the next line, remove that. These are the function name, right? Now it's here. No, it's okay. Because here you are calling inside out. Now click on that. See that? Click on the second one. See that? Now both are ready. Click on that. Make each other. Sorry? Okay. Just go there, right? You have to actually plus instead of comma. Plus. Because if alert was not there. Down for that. Click on third one. Right? Hello, Bob. All right. So, yes. And you guys remember that I told you that in components folder, we will create our first component. So I write here, new file. And did I tell you? Very important. Component name should always start with a capital letter. Component name should always start with a capital letter. So I will start, for example, last time also we created about.jsx. I'll give extension of JSX, about, with capital A. Never use a small letter here, please. Okay. So now in about component, you remember that these components are merely functions. So I'll write a function. And I'll write exactly the same way as I named it. I'll write it like this, about, and I will write this function with capital A. Component name should always start with a capital letter. Would you guys remember that one? Always start with a capital letter. Now, inside that, remember, it returns what? Anyone remember? It returns JSX. You guys remember that one? So I will write return parenthesis, and inside that, I'll create again the fragments. We talked about fragments, wrapper. And here I'll give H1 and I'll say about me. Rather, I'll say H2 because, that would be a little bit smaller and good. Is that enough or we need something else? Yes.
The wrappers are mandatory.
Sorry?
Wrappers are
Yeah.
mandatory. You have to.
Yeah, you have to have one wrapper around all the content of JSX. We'll talk about that. I talked about last class. What is this wrapper? And it does not produce it. Okay. Is this done or we need one more step before we import it? What is that step? We need to export this component. Remember everyone, we need to export this component. Now come here and see. Export default and just write about here. export default about. We need to export this component from here because we'll be importing it somewhere, right? And I'll talk about this default keyword as well. You might have multiple functions. When you say export default, it means it will go as a default value, or we can have other functions. We'll talk about that, but don't worry about that right now. So everyone has made this component. Now it's the time to call this component in our application. Now go back to hit save first of all for this one and go back to app.jsx. Now in app, first step is I'll go to the top and I'll write import and I will write the component name, which is about from / components / about. No JSX over here. No JSX over here. Make sense, everyone? Now it's very easy to call the component. Now we can just come over here after this H1. I hit enter and I will write in element type form in a closing element like self-closing element. I just write about and I hit save. Look at that. Do you guys see that my component has appeared over here? Can I have again just a raise of hand? How many of you see this second component in your first like app? Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And interesting part is I can call this component thousands of times over here. Look at that. And you know, this all will be called in one call asynchronously. Look at that. I'm just calling for no reason. I'm calling this multiple times. You guys understand that one? It is just all called in one call and it's asynchronously coming from behind. No refresher of the page. You guys remember which single page is running right now? Index.html. There is no other HTML request being made to the server. That's an interesting part of React, right? So for no reason, I've just called it multiple times. Yeah, sure. In the code. Yeah, sure. So there is some code that is of its own app code. And then I've called about code multiple times, 10 times, whatever, right? And again, of course, I won't like to use this that much times, but I just wanted to show you that we can call it any number of times. Do you see that, everyone? Because we are about to start talking about something very interesting and cool because we will be just using that as well. Sorry? You are not ready? No problem. Just show me. You?
We get import components from src app.jsx because that file exists. Oh, import about /components / about is about. Make sense? Make save. Oh, right?
You forgot that. You see that? The first line number 5.
Yeah.
It has to be about your name of the folder, name of the component, name of the component. Now, is that interesting? Like we have got a component. Now here comes the concept that we will start discussion, and it is the concept of props or properties. While we are calling a component, we can even pass some properties as we used to pass parameters to the functions, normal functions. These are not normal functions. These are components, by the way. Make sense, everyone? So for example, to this about me, see here, I want to do something. I say this about me should be called with a word like with title. And for example, it should have someone's name. Christina, for example. Title is equal to Christina. Make sense, everyone? I'm saying when you call the component, give it a parameter, a property. It's called props or properties. They're called what? Props. The real world is props. Props is for short form of properties, right? So I have given one property while calling this component. Make sense, everyone? Now, since I am passing it, do I need to catch it as well? In the same way as you pass the parameters to a function and there is a variable to catch that, remember? Now, same ways, I'll come here. I'll go to my about.jsx and here I would say that it will be receiving props, the properties, props. Can you guys change that one? Props. Do you guys see that? Now, I'll come here and I'll say, again H2, and I'll write a curly bracket, and I'll say props dot title. Do you guys make sense? Props dot. Go and read the title from the props, right? Now hit save. Look at that. Do you guys see that? About me, and then the name is coming, which I passed from there. Now, you might be thinking, what is the benefit of that? I'm coming back to the app.jsx. And now I want to call it again with some new name. So I'll put an I'll put an HR first of all, horizontal line, ruler. Now I'll come here and I'll say about, and title is equal to John, and call this one. Are you guys understanding what I'm doing now? If I hit save, look at that. Now the component is coming with a new name. Are you guys getting that one? Do you see the, do you remember I showed you the Udemy page, or I told you about the Netflix page, that every time the components is loads up with a new component, with the new contents. Always there is a new, if you talk about Netflix, there is always a new movie loaded in the same component. So do you see that? First time this component is loading data for Christina. Second time it is loading data for John, for example. Are you guys making sense of it? Is that interesting? You know what we are doing? We are passing. Let's say, can we pass more parameters, more props? Yes. Come here after this, and I say, for example, yes, let's say age equal to, and now you see here, if I want to send a number, I would not send them in the double quotations. Rather, I will send them in the curly brackets. Whenever you are sending number or true false, the Boolean, you will always put a curly bracket around that. Make sense, everyone? So I say age is equal to 30, for example. And for John, I say age is equal to 32, whatever. Hit save. Now, I have just sent them. Do I need to catch and display them on my component? I'll go back to my component, about, and see what I'll do. I'll say, for example, I'll just put the age right after this, and I'll say curly brackets, and I'll say props dot age. Look at that. Now I hit save. Are you guys getting that one? Is that the components are becoming more and more interesting? You can pass data from the calling type, and it's of course, as I told you, now it is becoming generic, and I can come here and I can call it any number of times. I can say HR again, and I call about again with Jane and age 25, whatever. You see that I keep on getting my component here. Are you guys getting that one? Is that interesting? Same component displaying different data. And again, remember the asynchronicity in our React application. This is not like we are calling 3 components. It's just like we are calling 1 component. We are just calling 1 component, and one way or other, I would say we are just calling it once actually, because it all will be loaded in 1 call. Make sense, everyone? It all will be loaded in 1 call, and you see that we have got these values. Make sense? All right. Yeah.
The number is not coming. Oh, actually, you have made a mistake. Just give me a second. Why it is giving the red lines? Because no. Just go back. You have made something wrong here. Why did you comment that out? Why did you delete that? Just
Because I want to study it.
you want to study that later on.
I sometimes comment, explain to myself.
Yeah, I understand that, but
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that is.
and because you will get the still thing. Oh, I see. I got it. Okay, this is the problem. I'll just do that. I'll bring your thing back. Actually, this is nothing. You see that? Everything is coming back. And this This one is coming because you have some certain, somewhere comments you wanted to place. Oh yeah, this one. You see that? Because now comments are gone. Oh, but I can get it. Is it after clicking button? No. Right now, you just show everything. And now, if you want to make it a comment, very carefully select what you want to make. For example, you want to make it this time, right? Now hit control. Just these will come. Yeah?
Thank you.
All right. So yes, do you guys see that? It's very interesting that now we have props something as well. Now, should we make it more spicy and more interesting? Now see here, if I come here in my about and I say when the name is appearing, for example, or this the second one, this should have a color applied to it. So I'll say style is equal to, remember, double curly bracket. Everyone remember that? Double curly bracket. And I say color and I say blue. Color blue. Now look at that. Do you guys see that? Color blue. Now, do you see that the name and age is appearing? Of course, what? Blue color, because I've just applied a internal style. You know, I want to tell you something really cool. I say that whenever we call this component, not only the data is fast, the color should also be fast. Which color you want to show? Are you guys getting that one? I want to pass the color as well. Now look at that. This is very interesting, and you guys will really enjoy. Rather, I'll come to that one. I'll come to the color as well, but I wanted to tell you something else which is very important before that. So we are receiving this by using these props, and we say props.title, props.age. Do you know these are the two props that I have sent from the behind? I'm just getting them back over here. Make sense? Now, there are multiple ways of destructuring these props. How many of you remember this word destructure? Do you guys remember we have talked about this destructuring word before? While we started talking about the arrays. Does anyone remember that we were talking about the geographical coordinates of values, and I said that destructuring is called, and I showed you one example as well, where we parsed the date and we destructured the day, month, and date. Do you guys remember that one? I talked about destructuring. So actually, props have these two values inside it. I want to know how many ways are there that I can destructure these values over here. First way is very simple. I've done that. Props.title, props.age. Everyone make sense of it? I want to make it a little simpler. And please be with me. Don't type anything, because if you will type, you will make a mistake in code. Just listen to it and later on I'll allow you to type. The first way can be, I hate to write props.title, props.age and everything over here. Rather, I say just save them somewhere and I just use a single word for them. Now see what I'll do. And please don't do that. I won't recommend anyone to do that. I'll come here and I'll say let title is equal to props.title and let age is equal to props.age. Now, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to save myself for writing props later on, because whatever time I have to use this age, I'll have to use props.age. Are you guys getting that one? If I want to print age twice, you know, let's do that interestingly. If I say again the age should come. So will I have to do props.age again? Something like that. Because why? Because of course, whenever you need that, you go and destructure that. But do you see that I have saved my a little bit of code over here? I've just captured them once. And now listen, I will come here instead of props.title. Can I just write title over here now? Instead of props.age, can I write just age over here now? Can I use the same age over here now? Are you guys getting that one? What I'm saying? I have destructured them once in the top, and now I'm just calling them normal variables, just like normal variables. See, there is no difference on my output. I've saved that. Did you guys understand that one? Don't type anything yet, because I'm about to tell you another very interesting method. Is that one method? Do you guys understand that? Even after that, and I'll leave this code, I would say, no, just comment that out. And of course, now I won't have any output because there is no variable now. I'll come here and I can do something like this. See here, I'll have to use the same name, by the way, title and age equal to props. Do you guys remember this type of destructuring in arrays? How many of you guys understood this one? You know what I've done? I have just taken the props which has two values, object values. I've taken the prop and destructured the title and age out of it. Are you guys getting that one? Because I'm about to tell you another way. But do you feel the difference between these ways? You can use either of them. By the way, there is no compulsion. But the third way that I'm going to tell you is the most widely used way that I will be using most. That's why I was just. So now my output is back. It means everything is working fine. Make sense? Now I'm telling you another way. And again, yet don't type anything because you will really find it interesting understanding. I go to the directly to the top of my component, and here I write the same thing. Do you guys understand now? I'm trying to tell you this is the most widely and most, I will be also using this method over here. Do you guys understand? Actually, what I've done, I've taken this statement and I just put that statement over here. Are you guys getting that one? This is the most widely used. And you know why I'm saying most widely used? Because now this will make my life easier. Do you know I was about to introduce another prop, but before that I stopped and I said, let's first of all discuss this. Now, if I send hundreds of props, I just have to come here and comma, 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 comma. I can just write their names over here. Is it the most easiest way of destructuring the values from the behind? Make sense, everyone? So I will be mostly using that. Now, just, before you use that, I will just give you this example and then I'll allow you to type everything. First of all, let's make age for the one time. Now, in this app.jsx, I'm saying that with every call, pass another parameter and color is equal to, for example, say red. Here, color is equal to blue, and here, color is equal to green. Are you guys getting that one? I am passing one more props here. So do I need to destructure that as well on the other side? Of course. So you see that now how easy it has become. I will just come here at the top and I'll put a comma and I say color. Does everyone understand that? First of all, destructuring color is here. Now you know what I'm about to do. You will see that what will happen. I come here, instead of this blue, I will write color. You know which color it is? This. If you guys understand, look at that. What I've done. I passed the color from behind. Color has a different value for every record, every component. Now, the first one comes up in the red color. Christina's record is coming in red color, and John's coming blue color, and then James is coming in green color. Do you know we are starting to make our components so very dynamic that they are not only receiving the data, they are also receiving the colors. They can receive lots of interesting things, interesting stuff. Do you guys understand that one? Make sense? Now I will allow all of you to just copy this, and I'll just keep it open. And I want you to introduce a BG color props, and that should be the background color, and try to apply that background color over here that you have passed from behind. So again, Christina is coming in red color. It should have a background of yellow, for example, and that also will be passed by the user from the behind. Can you guys try that out? Just first of all, type this all, whatever way you want, and then introduce another, and that you can call it BG color, right? Because you can pass it as a BG color name and extract it or restructure it BG color and then apply those BG color. Yes. Right? Okay, you have made a mistake. Oh, you're not talking about what? Sorry. Let's see. Come back. Do you understand what's happening? We are sending the color from behind as well and applying that color. So if you want to see any typical, or I can send this code on our teams as well, right? Let's send this code to the teams. This about code. Yeah, no, we'll do that. So I have sent you the
about components code on the Teams. You can just always check that. And also I can send you the app component because some people will be thinking about the app as well, right? So I'm sending you app component code as well. All right. I can, when we started our session last on Wednesday, I told you that React is a very important, very widely used technology these days. I would like you to just take interest. That's enough I can say.
Many people can like build websites just by using React.
Yes, but to learn this React, you have to be, fluent with your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Because if you don't know them, you will be having problems here. So that's why we studied those technologies before. Now we have done.
Just the syntax.
Yeah. Anyone successfully did that? VG color? Okay, wonderful. I expect you would have done that. Let's see others who can come up. So pass a VG color from behind, receive that, and show that as a background color. Can you show that? Wonderful. Can you show that code? And receive that. Oh, wonderful. It's wonderful. That's what we have. You just receive the variable and just pass it in the perfect. Pass it in the perfect. Okay, so let's take a 10 minutes break and we'll be back after 10 minutes and we'll just continue with this one, right? Let's take a 10 minutes break. Fresh yourself.
So good. No, I like it from my answer.
If you have questions, ask me after. Wait, no problem.